minute zero. For those of you who are on the bean bags, just so you know, we're watching the unaired pilot. The best way to find that is to go to, or quickest way to find that is to go to open the Remarcus app or go to remarcus.com. Click on the calendar, go into Gilmore Girls. You'll see happening now, the unaired pilot. Go into that page, and then there's a little link there under how to watch. That says pinkish, and that will open up the site where we're watching it from. We're all going to cross our fingers that, like, all of us accessing this person's video at the same time doesn't crash the video. I have no idea where this video is, how it's being served, what their server setup is. So we'll cross our fingers that we all are able to get through it. But it's only 35 minutes, and I'm very excited to see all of the differences in this thing.
Okay, all right. I think I could do my little spiel now. I'm trying to remember what you usually say, John. So as long as everybody's ready, we can start, right? Okay. So
love it.
Hello, friends. Welcome to Remarcus. For those of you who don't know what Remarcus is, this is a little group here on Clubhouse where we come together and watch our favorite shows, where we just hang out, passing around food, as John says, our pizza boxes and bags of hot Cheetos. We're starting with almost everyone's favorite show on here, and that is Gilmore Girls. So as you'll notice, there are 15 people up here with me with microphones next to their icons on what we call the couch. So the 15 people up on the couch have the distinction to speak throughout the episode and react in real time. If you didn't make it onto the couch this first time around, do not worry. I will be opening up the couch so that others may speak and react to this particular episode as well. As you'll notice, the red dot emoji, that means we will be recording this episode. So if you do not want to be recorded, don't speak or don't come onto the couch. We won't judge. Lastly, to give some insight onto how this event came about, John actually messaged me and asked me if I would be interested in hosting this event during our hiatus week, and I happily obliged. So I want to extend my thanks to John
because you're the bomb.
Yeah. Y'all make me blush. So I not only want to extend my gratitude to John for not only inviting me into the club, for giving me this opportunity to host this event, and for also recording. You're the best. I also want to extend my thanks to Mary for also helping with recording the audio for this event. And lastly, I want to extend a thank you to all of you for coming onto my event tonight. It really means the world that you guys are really excited to watch the unaired pilot with me, and I'm really excited to hear your reactions in real time. Before we actually get started, just a show of hands by flashing the mic, how many of you guys have not seen the unaired pilot? Okay, that's a pretty decent number. This is exciting. Okay. So let me get.
I don't know, John. I think Regina is maybe making a play to take over Remarcus.
I know. I was going to say she's
crushing it.
Killing it.
She's
Would
killing
you
it.
mind? Wouldn't you gladly give it over?
I mean, she certainly condensed my verbose version of that into everything we needed. I love it.
Just don't forget to start the timer in the Remarcus tab.
Thank you.
Oh, now mine's reloading. Ooh.
All right.
Oh no.
Chris, tell me when you're ready.
Yeah, I'll tell you when it's ready. I don't know what it's doing. All of a sudden, it disappeared, and I had to open it up again, and then now it's reloading. Sorry.
Are we starting at 0, or are we going to skip the first 12 seconds?
We're gonna start all at 0. And
I say we start at 0.
0 just makes it easier. Okay. I just wanted to double check because I know the
first
first 12 seconds are just a black screen.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we'll start at 0 just to make things easier for sure.
All right, I think I'm ready, Regina. Sorry.
Okay. No, you're fine. Also, before I forget, for us people up on the couch, I just want to make you all privy to the fact that you should watch out for the volume on your laptop or TV or whatever when you unmute and you start speaking, just because I don't want to get into any rights issues with Warner Brothers. But go ahead, go crazy with your reactions and stuff, but just be careful. And for those who are not up on the couch, if you're listening, if the chatter gets to be a little much, do not hesitate to lower your volume so that you're not as distracted and you can enjoy the unaired pilot in real time with us here tonight. If everyone's all ready, I'm gonna get the stopwatch started and I'm gonna, oh, wait, Chris is flashing her mic.
Oh, I was just clapping for you. Go, Regina.
All right, hold on.
All that TA stuff is paying off in your professionalism.
All right, so let me get the stopwatch ready, and we're gonna all start on the count of 3. Ready? 1, 2, 3.
It's a black screen.
Enjoy the
Although
Oh my
we
God,
do
my
have the
TV
music.
went to sleep.
Oh my gosh, what is that logo?
Look at that logo. Whoa.
So
And the
obviously the
music.
first
So
major
different.
difference is a different song.
Cheryl.
What and
Yeah, I don't like it. Like the intro song as much as
yeah, it's
our
so
normal.
weird.
I love this song, but not for Gilmore Girls.
It makes me want to go back to Canada. This part looks
I
familiar.
know.
This is the same shot, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so far.
But the quality level is just.
But see, that is Unionville. I recognize that. I used to walk on that street all the time.
I think some of these shots are the same as the original. They must have just reshot.
Oh,
this thing.
I just realized what the song is. I love this song.
I have a
Yeah,
picture of
they-
me
like-
standing right there.
They reshot like Lane and
Oh, it
Rory
looks so
walking through
different.
the town. Yeah, they added a few extra scenes for the actual aired pilot.
And is it just me or is the sound really different as well?
Oh, very different.
Yeah.
But yeah, this whole scene is original. It's just not as good of quality because it wasn't like the aired one, so they didn't do as much editing, I'm guessing.
Oh, we get to see this guy again.
My favorite character.
The guy who sounds like a peanut butter lodge.
Creeper guy.
His mouth.
Yeah, he doesn't
Yeah.
have a name, does he?
His name is Chad now.
It's Creeper guy.
Netflix always starts playing this scene, though, whenever, I don't know if it's the same one for you guys, but whenever I'm like going to a new
Yeah.
episode of Gilmore, I keep hearing, oh, I've never been to
His
Gilmore.
name
Dan
is
Palladino.
Joey.
I was gonna say, wasn't that Dan walking out the door?
That was Dan.
I don't know why, but that guy looks familiar. He's been on something else. I guess no. It's a Joey guy. Macy Grace from Canton, Ohio. That's only like 30 minutes from my hometown.
Officer Krupke, I'm down on my knees.
I feel like you can definitely tell they weren't planning on Luke as a character because I feel like he would have reacted to the dude creeping on Rory.
That's a good call.
I love that. Oh my goodness.
Ew.
Was that in the original?
Yep.
Yeah. Yes, it was.
Yes. Still gross.
I have a friend. This music is like messing with my head.
This is different.
I was gonna say this is different.
I think.
Yeah, we
this
never
is
saw
Union,
the
though.
outside of the inn.
No, we did in the wedding episode with Kirk and the Swans.
Well, I just meant the
whenever they would
pilot.
transition to the
Oh,
inn,
yeah.
they would just show like that one photo of the exterior, and that was it. So yeah, that's interesting to see.
And this scene is slightly different. He's not going through the book.
Yeah, I think
The way she's delivering this line sounds different.
Was Yannick living in Toronto? Like, was he a Toronto actor that they brought in because they were shooting in Unionville?
No, he was actually in LA at the time.
Interesting.
Oh, she said that so differently in that take. The moo moo.
Now I definitely want to watch the pilot again.
I was just
really
thinking that.
same here.
Sunday is still unclaimed, right?
No, Sunday now has, I believe, the trivia night because they had to change it because Amanda got sick. But
Tomorrow is unclaimed.
Thursday is unclaimed now.
We could do Thursday.
Let's do the pilot then.
Oh, totally would be down for that.
We should.
It would be like the unaired one today and then the original tomorrow.
See, this scene is what they refilmed on the set.
That's all ADR. That's all ADR.
I was about to say this sounds like it's done in the studio.
Majorly in a studio.
It is all very slowly like spoken.
And no background music or something. Something's missing.
Yeah, you can like hear all the street noise, which I don't think you would normally.
Oh,
Man, totally ADR'd. Oh my goodness.
I know. I keep going.
Oh,
Wait, who was that?
that's Dean.
Gross.
Oh,
boy.
Wait, what? Wait, what?
Oh, the
That's Dean?
kitchen. Oh, ready?
And watch this.
Here's Sookie.
Gosh.
that was the Jared Padalecki.
Melissa's 100 times better.
I think she's amazing, and I think she would have probably done it justice as well. But do you watch Miss Maisel? Mrs. Maisel?
Yeah, Alex and Melissa have different approaches at like being funny. I think they're funny in their own ways, but
Oh,
it's
definitely.
Totally.
it's definitely different seeing someone who isn't Melissa McCarthy portray Sookie for sure.
Yeah, but she still is good. I think it would have been good with her. It's just we're used to seeing Melissa McCarthy.
She's better in Maisel, though, than she is in the Unaired pilot.
Agree.
Well, she's just doing a very different thing. Like her Sookie's just a very different Sookie.
That was a weird shot of the sign.
I'm
It's a
loving
different
the
location,
interact
isn't it?
sign in the middle of the door,
Or it looks
which
like.
is so Canadian.
That shot of them in the doorway is in the pilot. The aired pilot.
Oh, wow, really?
I don't
So
think
is
so. It didn't have the
Lane
interact
wearing? Is Rory wearing that sweater in the
Yeah.
the real pilot?
She sure is.
Yeah, she is.
Yeah.
Enormous. I don't think that Sookie would have went well with Jackson.
Except that they-
Which is ironic because they were married in real life.
Right.
Is this scene from the pilot? I mean, this scene is from the pilot, but did they reshoot this?
I think this
Definitely
is
probably.
the same scene.
Yeah, this is like the same.
I mean, I think everything's the same, but they just probably reshot it.
I'm gonna have to compare the furniture because I feel the furniture's a little different that they walk by.
I just know when they're standing in the doorway, you see that that oval sign and behind them.
That was definitely in the pilot. That Mrs. Kim line, either that or she just delivered it exactly the same.
I think it is, but I think she delivered it a little bit differently. Everything is more mellow in this, I think.
This background music. What is this?
It's so wrong.
It sounds like a child is playing a
It's
video
so
game in the background.
slow paced. Sound like a video game.
It sounds like
It's
Mexican
like-
restaurant music.
I know. I was thinking that too. The Mexican restaurant. But it's just
Well,
like
and they
very-
speak Spanish and to some of the cooks in here in the first couple episodes or something too. So maybe they're all Mexican.
Oh yeah, that's true. I didn't think about that. The kitchen is also different. Like all of the Independence Inn is like totally different. So,
I think the music in the kitchen is supposed to be like merengue or something. So yeah, I think all the kitchen staff, the male kitchen staff at least, is supposed to be like of Hispanic descent.
yeah, well, yeah, all of that would have been reshot with Melissa.
Either merengue or salsa.
You can tell,
I
like,
so love that Rory. Did you do something slutty line? It's so good.
you can tell that Lauren Graham naturally talks fast because she still kind of has a little bit of the speed, but no one else can match it.
That principal line was not in the pilot, was it?
It
Yeah,
was.
it's an iconic line.
Really?
And then when you actually meet the guy, you're just like, what was she even thinking making that joke? No fire.
I was going to say that part was different because
Yeah,
the thing didn't catch on fire. That's what I was thinking.
We know the show too well. I don't know if it was the low quality, but the skirt looked different too.
It
Yeah,
definitely was different.
Low quality fabric, Regina.
And it had detailing on it that's not on the one they ended up going with.
The house looks different.
It was
This
different in
is how it looks in
pilot,
the
too.
pilot. Yeah, this is the same thing.
$50,000?
It was probably 5,000.
No, it's about 50,000.
Yeah, I would think
5,000 would be
50.
small.
Wait, you're kidding. Oh, the music again.
This song is in the pilot.
This is definitely in the pilot.
Yeah,
For
yeah,
sure.
it sure is.
Oh yeah, it is.
I think
yeah.
it's just. I think they started it earlier here, though.
Yeah, that's why it
they
was
started
weird.
the song a little bit sooner than. And they cut out that whole scene, or they didn't write in that whole scene where she's discussing with Sookie what to do, and Sookie's like, "There's an answer."
Oh, correct. That's right. Something that I find kind of weird is that she's got a picture of herself as a little girl on her mantle.
I think that's supposed to be Rory, isn't it? Yeah, I always thought that was Rory.
Oh, I thought it was Lorelai.
No, that's Lorelai.
It's Lorelai.
That's definitely Laura.
That is interesting because she ran away from that, and she's not particularly close to her
Well, now I
parents.
feel dumb because I always thought that was Rory. You're not alone, Shelley.
I don't think she would have had Rory dressed up like that.
Definitely not. I mean, like she had Rory, and Rory never really entered that world ever. I think.
No.
I mean, that's a writing moment. That's designed to tell us this character is from a rich family. It's just the way that they did it, like, requires the character to have a picture of herself on her mantle, which is a little goofy.
Also, no one is dumb. Remember that. Don't be hard on yourselves. I don't feel like any of that was reshot. This seems to be exactly the same as in the pilot.
Yeah, I think
Definitely.
it's all the same.
Because Kelly's hairdo is exactly the same.
Oh no, I liked her hair after
The bad
they
hair.
took it out.
And that hairdo is epic.
Oh my gosh, did you see how tall Herman was when he was standing up?
I noticed that. I thought he was going to hit his head.
In the new set, they definitely raised the doorways, and I think that's probably why.
Yeah, this is definitely the same scene. Just the way he's saying, "You need money."
Yeah,
You
we
need money.
discussed this before, I remember.
In that window back there, I never seen that before.
No, this was the original pilot.
It was there.
Yeah, in the first season, it was there. After they changed it. In the second season, they changed the set.
I don't know.
I feel like we never see those phone calls.
It's interesting that we never hear follow-up of the weekly calls, just the weekly dinner.
I think that's probably because they do a lot more calls than just once a week after a while.
This is shot like so weird. I swear that looks so different.
Ooh, we get more Dean.
So funny, those scenes end. I never noticed those scenes end the same way. Like zooming
Why is
in
the
on
marching
all my
band
photos.
always in their uniforms at the school? Like every time they show them, even when, I don't know, they're just always in their uniforms. And that seems silly. Marching band people aren't always in their uniforms.
Exactly. I used to be
Yeah.
marching band geek back in high school. All 4 years, we were never in our uniforms. Like
You only wear into your uniform at your performance. That was it.
exactly. Unless
I
like
know.
unless the Stars Hollow High band is like booked and busy, then.
She is wearing a different outfit, I think.
Ew, his voice is so weird.
Why was he? Yeah, this entire scene is completely different.
Oh, he's so short too compared to Jared.
He's like a poor man.
Who is this guy even?
Wow. Wow.
It's your man crush, John Dean.
He also looks like 30 years old here.
Alexis was probably like, this guy's a goob. I can't have any sort of relationship with him. He's out of here.
I can't make it.
Yeah, there was definitely no chemistry between the two of them. Like there was
a tiny
between her
bit like
and
Zach Shepard, and it's weird.
Yeah, he's a little creepy.
I mean, you don't buy that guy has read any of that stuff.
I have to admit, I like the fact that he noticed Moby Dick there rather than creepy telling her that he's not a stalker way.
Oh, like, I've been watching you. There's something about his body language too, like the way he ducks his head. That's not my Dean. I want Dean.
I'm so glad they didn't keep this guy.
I know, I want Jared back.
Yeah, I guess.
Dean isn't my favorite, but Jared did so much better. I'm sure this guy's
How many
but...
Deans did they go through? I know it was a lot.
Wow, that is very weird.
It was so weird because he's...
John, you would have been much better Dean.
Also, was this in the original pilot that Luke's is not on a corner? It's like it's just a storefront.
Yeah.
Because this was shot in Vancouver.
Yeah,
in Unionville.
No, in Unionville.
Yeah, no. In the first shot, in the first season, the first episode, you see her walking straight into the store, and then in the second episode, you see that it's a corner door. So that comes in the second episode.
Are they eating salad?
None of those shelves are there.
Yeah,
They
that was
do
in the
a lot of
pilot.
salad and fruit and stuff in the early season.
Interesting.
Pretty sure this scene is all in the aired pilot.
They skipped her showing Dean around.
I know, I was wondering if that happened after, if I was crazy.
They must have added that with the with Jared.
The cake?
The whole, they have good cake or whatever.
They're round.
It's very round.
Because this makes no sense without the
Oh, I know. She just
bond
goes
between
talking
them.
to him for 2 seconds to like being in love.
It's like, ooh, Moby Dick. I don't want to go to school. It makes no sense.
I mean, none of this makes sense in the context of the scene that we just saw with Dean, because there was just zero chemistry between the two. And so you're just like, why is she not wanting to go to Chilton now?
Yeah, and seeing them spend more time together, like, makes it make more sense.
Oh, right, because we actually see our Dean and Rory actually in another scene after that, right?
Yeah, she walks them around and shows them around town to Patty's.
This is the same scene in the real pilot.
Yeah, that's Miss Patty's in Unionville.
Oh, that's definitely the same.
Oh,
So that was
they
obviously
mentioned
not-
Taylor in the very first unaired pilot. Remember, we had a whole discussion about whether it's Mr. Dozy or the owner or what? They have the name.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, Taylor.
Still the FloJo comment. Did you guys see how those lights came on as soon as they walked through the door? It didn't look like anybody touched a light switch.
I saw that, yeah. But that description doesn't match the guy they picked. This matches the Jared.
Yeah. I want to think that guy that they picked ended up going off to having a really great acting career, because it's sad to think that he was in this pilot and then was fired, and then the show went on to become a massive hit.
I just saw a thing for like an interview with him today, like a semi-recent one, weirdly, just randomly popped up.
For the actor who played the original?
Yeah, I didn't watch it though. I just saw it and I was like, oh, weird.
Oh my goodness, I want to watch that.
I'll find it and send it to you.
Oh, post it on the Facebook group.
Yes.
Oh, I will.
Yeah.
I can't help but look out the door and see that hood vent that we never ever see.
I know.
Yeah,
That's not where the oven is. The
hood
oven's on
vent
the other
doesn't
side.
exist.
Yeah, and the oven's on the other side by the back door anyway.
No, the oven's on the
That
other
definitely
side,
was
but it's-
reshot
there's no
because
hood.
that scene felt very different in terms of the way that she ends the scene.
Yeah, I agree. I also think the set, it was different than the real pilot. I don't remember that hood catching my eye.
Also, the interior of Rory's room looks really different as well.
Also, if Lorelai stole Rory's CD, how would they both be playing the CD at the same time?
I was just thinking the same thing. It never occurred to
Because
me.
that would mean that they have two and she wouldn't have to steal it.
Maybe she burned a copy. I don't know. That's what I was thinking.
Yeah. Or Lorelai lost
This
it.
is the thing so far.
Their styles are so different in the pilot.
I just posted a link to the Facebook group whenever.
I just read a news article about the Dean that's in this episode. This is like the only time Rory drinks champagne. It's usually like club soda.
Oh, yeah.
Is that legal in Connecticut?
It's legal in most places if you're like under like your parent supervision in your own home.
Yeah, that's what I
type of
mean.
a
Like,
thing.
I know California, but like Washington it isn't, so I wasn't sure.
This is my favorite line.
Those candles look fake to anyone else? I guess not. It's just the quality.
It's so grainy, I can't tell.
I wonder if they already knew what they were imagining for the Christopher character in this scene, or if they were imagining somebody who was legitimately what Richard thinks.
That sink looks really low. Or she's just so tall.
I think it was the same in the original as well.
Yeah, it is. That part is.
She's just like hunching over in her heels watching dishes.
I'm sure. She's just very tall. She needs ergonomic help.
Well, and she's in real tall heels too.
Oh my goodness. I forgot to sleep. I love it.
Is the front door different? I feel like the little window wasn't there.
I don't think so. It's not the same door they have later, but I feel like it's the same for the pilot.
Yeah, I think it's the same as the pilot, but yeah, I mean, definitely changed from second episode on.
Okay, I'm officially going over to Marcus and planning tomorrow's pilot. That's the thing.
Love it. This for me really like sets up the Rory character so well for the series. The fact that she's so understanding and sensitive to her mom here.
Oh, I just realized Sunday's in the morning. The trivia is in the morning, not at night. That makes me sick. This scene is the same.
That's one of my favorite lines.
His hair looks different.
He had a meeting at the bank earlier that
Oh,
day.
he's not wearing his hat, that's all it is, John.
Yep, no hat.
It looks fluffy.
Yeah, it does.
I think that's all exactly the same. I don't think they even
I don't
No,
think they reshot that, no.
Also,
No.
also just like the outfit that he's wearing is so weird.
I think that's from the original, isn't it?
Yeah, I think it's
Yeah,
the
the
original.
I even
That's
think
all
at their house, at the parents' house, I think that almost all looks the same to me. But
And I don't think they even reshot that standing away. I think that's the same one they used through the entire series.
Oh, definitely, yeah.
Wow,
over and watch
we
that
did it.
post now.
We
did
didn't
it.
crash
That
the
was
server.
something.
It didn't crash the
Oh.
server. We got through. Hopefully, folks on the beanbags were also able to watch.
I actually paused mine for like half a second at one point, and I like played it really quickly, so it was like half a second behind it. I was like, oh, boy.
Yeah, my MacBook was being weird and it kicked me off the site, but luckily I had it saved to my personal Google Drive and I came back in.
Should we open up the couch?
On it.
How did you like Dean?
I think everybody's groaning. And
Yeah, I
moaning.
mean, I feel bad saying it, because obviously that's an actor who, did the best that he could and whatnot. But I mean, sadly, it's just not what. I mean, I actually think that Sookie. I mean, please don't don't throw stones at me here. Obviously, our Sookie and Melissa McCarthy is incredible. I think that this Sookie could have been incredible. It just would have been a very different Sookie. It would have, her dynamic with Jackson, if they even wanted to do that storyline, would have been very different, and it would have had different jokes, and it would have been its own thing. But could have been cool. She's super talented, and I think what she's doing there is great. Dean doesn't work at all. Not at all. Not at all. Not one bit. And that's mostly just because
So
there's
wrong.
zero chemistry.
So
None.
wrong. We need to watch the interview now. Maybe we'll change our opinion of him. We'll feel bad.
Oh, I mean, I don't even. It's not even really about the actor. For me, it's just it was the wrong. It was the wrong. They cast it wrong, and they also just did not have chemistry. And that actor might be fantastic in something else with another actor, and the chemistry could work really well. But the chemistry between Jared and Alexis is just, it jumps off the screen, and this one just doesn't. And so that's why, it doesn't make any sense that she, even if they had that extra scene that they have in our pilot, I just don't think it would have made much sense, because we wouldn't have really felt like, really, that is why you want, yeah.
Kathy flashing her mic.
I looked it up from before we started, and it said that his name is Nathan Weatherington, and he gave up a role for Star Wars, I think, to take on this role, and then he lost it. And then when the OC came out, he auditioned for that and lost that to Adam Brody. And he had left Hollywood for a while. And
That's
then
what he
went
gets
back
for
and
giving
he
up
was on
Star
True
Wars.
Detective. Oh boy.
What was that, Kathy Ann?
After he left Hollywood, he finally went back a while later, and he was on True Detective.
You don't give up Star Wars. It gives you bad karma.
Or Dean. Oh, that's big.
He's got like a little bit of a Kip Gallagher vibe going on for me.
I think Adam Brody was a better fit too.
Unless he was going to be Jar Jar Binks, then it makes sense that he gave up Star Wars.
In a way, I kind of wish that Adam Brody wouldn't have gotten the role in OC because then he would have still been on Gilmore Girls.
Oh, but
my
he
gosh,
told
I
I don't. I don't.
I would have loved to see
Yeah.
it really.
Okay, I want to follow up more on that. I don't, John. That sounds like
Well,
juicy there.
Could have been with Todd.
No. It's not about Adam. I think that, and I mentioned this in the interview with Kai. You know, I think that when Sebastian came onto the show, the band became its own thing, whereas before in season 3, and I could be wrong about this. I have to watch it. It's what I remember. I feel like in season 3, the band was mostly just dressing for a plot line between Lane and Dave, right? Like that, to me, that's what it felt like. So we felt, I felt like our existence on the show was going to largely be determined by how much they used Adam and could get Adam. So when Adam left the show, there was an initial fear. Oh, well, I guess that's it. You know, why would they ever bring us back? And then when we got this call, like to come to the opening party for season 4, I was like, whoa, okay, that's interesting, because I thought that Adam wasn't on the show anymore. And then that was where we learned that they were thinking about bringing on some sort of like rock legend, like some 80s hair metal rock legend. And I just think that when he came on the show, the band became something else. He brought an energy to it that it didn't have before.
Gil was
I don't know.
awesome.
But maybe I'm wrong. I have to watch it because, again, I don't know how it plays out in the context of the rest of the series, and this is just from my memory.
That, John, though, I'm going to agree with your assessment, because I think that the character of Gil, well, for me personally, was so much more fun than Dave.
But I think the band was always going to have some fate because of Lane's involvement and like dedication. But we'll talk about that. Are we allowed to talk spoilers?
No. We'll talk about it when we get to that. But just to clarify, no, I think that Adam was great in that role. He and I got along very well on set. He's a really cool guy. And I very much enjoyed working with him. But I do think that the band was there to serve that storyline, or this is just how I remember it, to serve that storyline. And then in season 4, the band was its own storyline. That's just how I saw it. But I could be wrong. Again, we're going to be watching season 3, and I'm going to get to experience it along with you, and I may have a different opinion by the end.
Hearing you say that, I definitely agree. Just thinking back when I was watching, like, because I've seen it, obviously, I definitely see that. And also, like, the whole comment of, like, I wish he had stayed on the show. It's like, yes and no, because I love his acting, but I'm also grateful he wants to on the show so I can see him of the entire show of his acting. But
yeah. Well, I haven't watched the OC. I never saw him on it. But I imagine that he's really good on it. He's a really good actor, and and I heard that he was like beloved on that show. So
he's fantastic on that.
He keeps showing up on my Roku for that show called The Startup.
Oh, on Netflix. But I am so excited for season 3. Episode 1 even is just like fantastic. So I'm so excited. Like, seriously.
So I'm reading this article on the Dean from the unaired pilot, and the role that he passed up was Anakin Skywalker.
No.
Well, he deserves. I'm kind of damn.
I'm sorry to say that I'm glad, because
Hayden Christensen did great.
Absolutely.
Oh, yeah.
But the article
he-
says that he
maybe
walked
he could've
away
actually
from
made
it,
it
but
better.
he hasn't been offered it yet. It was seeming like it was going to be him, but before they actually cast him, he said, no, I don't want it.
Yeah,
Okay,
he
but
took himself out of the race for him.
Star Wars.
Yeah.
I
Fluffy.
Wow.
Although,
It's
I
Star
like-
Wars.
who ended up in that role? Maybe he would have had more chemistry with Natalie Portman than the other guy did, though. I mean, just saying.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I think maybe another actor might have actually made those prequels a little bit better. Are y'all
Yeah.
Hayden Christensen? Did a bad
I mean,
job
there
with
was
that.
Jar Jar Binks ruined the whole prequel altogether. You know what?
You know what's really sad is that I had never seen any Star Wars movies, and I was bored at my house one day, and we had episode 3. But episode 3 was the very first one I ever saw, and so the rest of them were kind of just
That's
like,
a
oh,
shame.
I know.
You
That's
got
so
to
sad,
start
Lily.
the original
I
trilogy
know everything.
and then move to the prequels. And then
I know. I
Wait, but I have-
Although
watched
here's
them
a
all
funny
order.
story. My mom tells me about, so when episode 4 came out, whatever year it came out, she said
1977.
77.
I think so.
My grandparents, my mom's parents, went to the theater to watch it. And she said that they walked out after like 15, 20 minutes because they were like, what is this futuristic garbage? And they were like, this is never going anywhere. Nobody's going to like this. Nobody's going to watch it.
It's
Oh,
the first
that-
movie
they
I
weren't the
remember
only
seeing
ones.
in the theater.
They weren't the only ones. Critics were really hard on that movie. That movie got, it, pretty much got, what we would consider to be across the board bad reviews from the critics. And of course, that was so out of line with the public's feelings about it. And obviously it's how well it did at the box office that then many critics had to go back and like reassess it and then do new reviews for it. By the way, I should just say, my buddy Sheev, who's in the audience, who's been watching these with us, has never watched Gilmore Girls, and so is watching every one of these, is a huge Star Wars fan, and I'm sure is smiling at this conversation.
Yeah, he should come up.
one thing
Apparently,
I will
my
say about-
grandfather went to the ticket office and demanded to get his money back.
Oh my God, that's funny.
Oh,
One
Nick,
thing that I
what-
will say,
sorry.
one thing I will say for anyone who wants to watch the Star Wars, the original Star Wars trilogy, there is a version of it online that you should watch, not the version that you would get like through Disney Plus or whatnot. It's called the Despecialized Edition. And the reason why is because over the years, George Lucas has been changing what he originally created back in the 70s. Like every time a new technology comes in, he like goes in and like erases something or like puts in some CGI or whatnot. And now those original movies have just become this like Frankenstein of like old and new and for the most part, a lot of that stuff is really silly. And love it or hate it, however you feel about Star Wars, it's an important film in the history of cinema, right? Because just what it did for the how it created was a big part of the creation of the blockbuster and what it did for science fiction, etc. So there are a lot of people who really feel like this is wrong what he's doing because this is a piece of history that needs to be preserved. So about 10 years ago, a group of people just decided that they were going to, like total museum style, they were going to recreate what he originally did. Like they were going to find all kinds of old footage and old DVDs, and they would do color correction and all this stuff. And they created 3 versions of the 3 first movies that are as close to what it would have been like watching it in the theater as you can get currently. You can't find that. In fact, George Lucas, when he sent his, this I actually found out from my buddy Sheev, when he sent a copy of Star Wars to the Library of Congress, he didn't send the original one. He sent his new Frankenstein version, and they sent it back. They sent it back to him saying, no, we need the original. and so he never sent it. So the Library of Congress does not have Star Wars because he doesn't want them to have his original.
George Lucas.
Steve, you should
fight.
come up here and talk.
Oh, so John, that was the very first movie that I saw in the theater. My grandmother took my brother and I wasn't even 5 yet. And I remember that opening scene. That's like, it had such an impression on me, which is one of the reasons probably why I love sci-fi. But I absolutely loved it. And I saw that and Superman and Muppet movies. Those are the movies, the three I remember first seeing in the theater when I was a kid.
John, but you're absolutely right. Like, the Star Wars movies have definitely changed the cultural zeitgeist for like ever. You know, even if you've never like watched a single film, like those references of like Darth Vader saying like, Luke, I am your father, all of that, like that has lived on for years. And even if you've never watched the films, like, you know them, you're like, oh wow, that's Star Wars. So you're correct. It redefined history for like ever, for sure.
Yeah, I have to say, as someone who's never seen any of them, I mean, I know enough about them just from hearing it in, day-to-day lingo.
The music,
Possible.
the music has transcended, and my son's high school band just played at their spring concert, and they do it every year.
Wow.
Music.
Let's set up a watch of the 3 originals. Let's not even bother with the prequels. Let's start with the originals and then move forward, like go on in the numbers from there.
Empire Strikes Back is my favorite.
Oh,
Well, it's the best of them. It's the best of all of them because it was the only one that was really directed by, like, I mean, well, in my opinion, it was directed by the most awesome director of all. It was directed by Irvin Kershner. I mean, it was a really, that film is a really good piece of filmmaking. And the script is really good. But let's chat a little bit about some of this stuff in the unaired pilot. What are you all feeling about? I voiced my opinion about Sookie and about what's the actress's name? Alex Borstein. I mean, she's tremendous in Maisel. I haven't watched all of Maisel, but I like watch it over Babsy's shoulder while she's watching it. And I mean, she's amazing in Maisel. And what she's doing is pretty interesting in this. Like, I mean, it's different, but it's got its own interesting qualities. Obviously, we love what we have, and we've grown attached to our Sookie and all of the storylines that have grown out of that character. Because remember, like, they don't know all of the storylines. They're building these storylines as we're going. As I told you yesterday, like, very often they're writing, not very often, they are writing this show as the show is being shot. So a lot of what we love about Sookie came from Melissa McCarthy. It came from getting to know her as an actress and seeing what her strengths are and writing storylines to support that strength and bringing other characters in that would have good chemistry with her. So I don't doubt that they could have done all the same things for Alex, and we would have loved. This is how I personally feel about what I saw today. But I would love to hear your thoughts on it.
One thing I really noticed in that scene in the kitchen, that is a really funny scene, just like because it gives you who Sookie is. Like, she's definitely like a little bit of a nutty professor. She's got a lot going on. She needs help. It's such a beautifully choreographed scene, and Alex did it so well. Like, it is absolutely, it's like a ballet performance. It's beautiful. And I really think that the thing that she and Melissa McCarthy have in common is like the physical comedy, I think. And so I kind of feel like while Melissa has like especially in this role, like has like she has a lot of heart and a lot of sweetness. Alex has like more of a harsh, like, what's the word I'm looking for? She's a little bit more of a broad, like she's really like more funny, I guess, in that way. And like that's kind of what we see in Maisel, is that she's a little bit tougher. But they both share that physical comedy. Like it's precision. It's super. It's like there was something about it that was so precise. Everything she did in that scene. And I think they both do that scene really well. But like I think that's kind of what's needed for that character, is it, you know, needs to be like a little bit all over the place, but like beautifully choreographed and planned.
Kathy Ann?
I feel that Alex and Melissa have two very different types of comedy to them. And going off of what Diana said, I really like that they still gave Alex a part as Drella. I think that fit her better. And to me, she didn't really fit the Sookie scene. The way, like, her tone and stuff with it, it just didn't seem to work as well.
I agree with that.
I gotta say, I found it interesting that all of the physical gags were written, like both actresses did the exact same types of gags about, like, you know, stepping on their thumb and throwing the towel over the shoulder, and one went into soup, one went into a fire. But I think what was missing for me in the unaired pilot, so I agree with John in that I think the comedy, I think, would have been there, but I actually was missing the heart. Like, I didn't get the feeling in the pilot that Sookie and Lorelai had that personal outside of work connection, other than from the dialogue saying we're going to open an inn and, you know, that kind of thing. But in the actual pilot, where they had that conversation, where you can see that Sookie's at her house and they're having wine, and she's like, "Help me think, Sookie." Like, it's there's a little bit more of a like a connection between Lorelai and Sookie in the aired pilot than there was in this one. That's what I felt.
Well said. I agree. I saw Shelley was flashing her mic, and then John, you can go after Shelley.
Thank you. I just, I think that, I think Alex did well. I did also notice, like, her hair was dark, like, like, this is stupid maybe, but like Lorelai and Rory, and maybe that contrast of having like the reddish hair or something. I don't know. Even that, like, I think them standing next to each other didn't look as nice. But I like both of the comedians. They're both very good, and I think that maybe if they had showed those extra bits, like, maybe we would have seen a little bit more of the chemistry between them. But they just didn't have those scenes, so you can't really judge it.
I think even without those, and sorry, John, I know I'm cutting into your time, and I'll let you speak right after, but I think even without those, like, scenes about the connection and stuff, I think the way that Alex sort of, like, the tone, the intonation in which she said those lines, it made it seem like there really was no connection there. So at least with, like, Sookie, if you take out the scenes where she's at Lorelai's house and all of that, you can still tell that they have a great rapport, and they're great friends in and outside of the workplace. John, go ahead. Sorry, I like usurped your spot.
No problem. There was someone who it's Jasmine. She's been to several of these. I don't know if she is here actually. Jasmine, on the first room that she joined us for, had this really amazing bit of insight that has just stuck with me. This idea that within our social circles, there are a certain number of slots available to different personality types. And very often, you know, like, people sort of fit the different personality types within their social circle. And if there isn't that, you know, slot available, it makes it hard for you to sort of connect. And I mentioned that, like, yeah, that was really cool, because really interesting, because I actually have different circles of friends, and in the different circles, I sort of have a slightly different personality role in each of them as I relate to the other person. the reason why why she was saying it is because she was saying that may be the reason why Lorelai and Emily never really fit, because the person that Emily needed Lorelai to be, Lorelai did not want to fill that role, and there wasn't a role within her relationship with her parents that she could fill because the role was already filled. I'm getting to why this is relevant to, or some of you may already know what I'm about to say. I think that Lorelai and the Sookie that we saw tonight are too similar. I think that they're both like
That's exactly what I thought.
Yeah, they're kind of witty, snarky types that kind of fit the same role. And in a relationship, in these sort of relationships, you know, it usually like that usually competes. And so it's not hard to imagine that these two are not friends outside of work, because it's hard for you to imagine how two people so similar, who have such a similar personality, not just the hair, but like everything about them seems sort of the same, how it'd be hard. It's hard to imagine them becoming fast friends. Whereas Melissa's Sookie is this like kind of quirky, giggly, fun, very different personality from Lorelai's, and because of it, they fit really well together. And so you can imagine that they would be fast friends outside of it. Even in Maisel, I feel like Midge, that's her name. Midge character, is that her name? Midge Maisel?
Yes, that's her name.
Yeah, her. And then what's the role that Alex plays?
Her name's Susie, I think.
Susie and Midge, right? Like that's another one where it's like you can really see that their personalities are different enough that they feel like within their social circle they fit. Each one fits into their specific role, if that makes any sense. Anyway, that was my feeling about the character, is that the reason why, Mary, I think that you don't feel that heart, or you don't feel like they would be really close friends outside, is because I don't know if two people like that would often become really good friends. Or at least in narratives, it seems to, in fiction, it doesn't seem to really work that well. You really do need to have. I'm gonna guess that when they watched the pilot over, that was probably a big note that they got. That they were like, she's great, and I'm also guessing, I don't know, but I would assume since she's in Maisel and they gave her another role in Gilmore Girls, my guess is that Amy and Dan know her and knew her and liked her and wanted her in the role, and probably were really sad that she had to be recast. But that might have been a demand from the studio. They may have gotten those notes over and over again. Like that character, I feel like it just doesn't work well with the Lorelai character. I feel like we need somebody who's a little bit bubblier, friendlier, a little ditzier, and Amy and Dan wanting their show to go, right? Like when a studio is telling you like, do this or else your show might not be the one that we put all of our muscle behind, you usually take those marching orders, regardless of how you might feel about the actor or whatnot. But I do think it was a smart choice. With the Dean, I think it's just obvious. I think anybody who watched that would have been like, there is zero chemistry between these two. We need to recast.
I saw Rachel flashing her mic, and then Shelley, you can go after her.
Well, I was just going to say, I don't think that Alex's Sookie would fit well with the town either. We know the townies become a big part of the show, and I just don't see Alex we know Luke's like the town grump, and I think that's funny, and I just see Melissa's Sookie fitting better with the town as well.
Oh yeah, Shelley.
Oh, I think it was just in the Scott Patterson interview. I thought that like in the first season, he was talking about that Alex actually was doing Mad TV and she couldn't commit or something, her contract. So they didn't actually, I don't think, not go with her. I think that she just could only it turned out that she could only do so many episodes or something, so that's why they put her in that.
Interesting.
So I'm not sure. Maybe I misheard that. I think that's what I heard.
No, that's right.
No, that's right. They did
Kept her from being intended to be her, but they couldn't.
Okay, well there you go.
TV contract, and so I guess at first they were nervous about who was going to be Sookie because they were really pumped that it was Alex, and their thoughts were like, these are really big shoes to fill, and then they found Melissa.
Wow, that's so interesting, and I actually really agree that there's just a lot of that dynamic in the show, right? We've got kind of a grumpy, kind of hard-edged person in Luke, and we've got a little bit of that in Lorelai. I mean, I can't imagine how that dynamic would have worked with the town.
I was going to make mention that I wouldn't be surprised the connection between Alex and the Palladinos would be from Family Guy, because Dan worked on Family Guy, and so I think that explains like the Seth MacFarlane connection, as we've seen later on in the but I like
right.
Yeah, they've said that. I think the Alex thing would have been a big deal too for some of the audience, because I don't know if you remember when you asked John what was it that attracted us to the show, and for me it was that friendship. That very first episode, it was that friendship that caught me. So if they didn't have the friendship moving on, I think that would have totally changed even just the dynamic of the audience relating to the show too.
Oh, that's interesting.
I can see that, Mary, and to see that Lorelai's very disconnected from her parents. And so I remember when I would watch, I would think, oh, she doesn't have her parents, she's not close to them, but wow, she's got this best friend who says, hey, can I sell my car to pay for your daughter's schooling? So I think that kind of drew me in too.
Shelly, did I interrupt you? I'm sorry, I feel like I interrupted you.
No, nobody interrupted me. I was actually walking across the room, so I didn't even. No, you're fine.
Diana, were you going to say something?
Oh yeah, no. I was just going to say, I definitely think that Amy and Dan have talked about the Family Guy thing, that they were all friends with Alex for many years, or they were just kind of all like the Amy, Dan, Alex, Seth, like all of those people were kind of, they came up like together. I feel like that's something I remember her saying. So yeah, I mean, it makes sense that like she would cast her and Maisel later when she finally could. But yeah, I feel like they've talked about that a lot, but like I just don't even know where at this point. I feel like I've heard all those interviews 1,000 times, but yeah.
You can definitely feel it. You can definitely sense that like there's a strong relationship between them. Even, you know, in the character, I don't even know her name, the harp player that she plays.
Drella.
Yeah, you can just feel like there's love between her and the creators, and she also just feels like somebody who they would be close friends with. She just has that vibe about her.
Wasn't Alex in
Bunheads too? Alex Borstein was in Bunheads, wasn't she?
I don't know.
But I was going to say, I missed Drella in this episode because she helped provide a little bit of that like comedy / annoyance, the same that Michelle provides a little bit. She helped add to that, and I missed her in this one.
Yes, she was in Bunheads.
I didn't even notice that, or I totally forgot that Drella was in the pilot. Oh wow, I missed her.
Maybe that's
Come again tomorrow.
Who did she play
in
Bunhead? She played the same character, because I just looked it up. She played Drella, and I don't know if was she playing harp in that too? I don't know, but that was her character's name in Bunhead.
Well, yeah, she's in every one of Amy's shows, is what I mean.
So she's like another Caesar.
You know, something I was thinking about was, I wonder if they had Jackson like picked out, because he was married to Alex, and I wonder if they already had that picked out because of like their connections, or if they casted him later. I was thinking about that because I couldn't
Jackson was married. Jackson was married to Alex.
Yeah, for like
Yeah, in real life.
They got divorced
What?
pretty recently. So they were married.
I heard that
Yeah, they were married the whole time he was on the show.
Yeah, I heard that they purposely did that because they're friends with both of them. They purposely casted her as Sookie and him as Jackson because they were supposed to be, because they were married in real life, and that they were supposed to bring that to the show.
Interesting.
They were divorced. So only 5 years ago?
Yeah, it was
Or
like
4 years
99
ago.
to 2017. Pretty sad.
Wait, from when to when?
Like, I think it was 1999 to 2017 is when they were married.
Wow.
Yeah, that's correct.
Man, learning new things. Learning. Love it.
Shall we address the elephant in the room, which is the different Dean in this episode, or have we talked about him at length?
No, I'm happy to keep talking about that. Was the weirdest thing ever.
Yeah, that was probably that and Sookie was probably the most unsettling thing from this for sure. Like the
Absolutely.
changes.
But wouldn't the lack of chemistry have come up before they started shooting? Like, I would think that they would be doing like in like a screen tests and stuff like that. Wouldn't that show the lack of chemistry?
Yeah, I mean, maybe. Yeah, I mean, to get as far as a pilot, you have to test with the the studio, which does require, like, it's the process of trying to get a lead role on the show is audition, callback, producer session, network. That's the order. So audition is, you just got an audition, you go in, and the casting director either is there with you, reading with you, and maybe there's a camera, shooting it. And then callback is typically, again, with the casting director has now narrowed it down to a small group that they want to see again. If the original audition wasn't with the casting director, was only with a camera, then it's in this callback that you meet the casting director, and they're in the room and they work with you, several times. And the objective in that callback is to get a really good tape of you, right? Like the casting director wants to just get the absolute best tape of your audition. So they've got maybe like 10 people that they're seeing, and they want to get the absolute best tape for all 10 of them, so that they can show those tapes to the producers, which would also include the directors, and would, of course, in television always include the showrunner, the executive producer, the creator. And then they pick a very small number of actors who go in and then audition in front, there's usually, there might be a recording going on, but really it's just, you walk into a room and it's like 10 people that are all like show producer type folks, like writers and directors and all that, all just sitting on a couch, and you're just standing there in front of them doing the scene. It's very weird. That's called producer session. And then if you're lucky, you're one of 2 people usually that goes to the network. And in that one, you're auditioning in front of studio executives, and they're pairing you with the other person who's also testing there in the other role. And that's where you should be able to see whether or not there's some chemistry. But of course, it's just one audition. They can get it wrong.
There was one scene that really, in the beginning, or not really a scene, just like one sort of line that really stood out to me, and I was like, oh, it doesn't work at all. When he's walking away, and then Roy turns around and goes, you should check out Miss Patty's, and he's supposed to say what, right? And he kind of does like this, I don't even know how to describe it. It was just like really awkward, and he like waited out just like a second or two too long or something. I don't know what it was. He was like, what? And it wasn't like a little like, I'm inquiring about what you said. It was just like a weird, awkward
sort of just answering what to say what, not really thinking about the context of the scene or something. I don't know how to explain. Because I just went and rewatched the little thing, and it's so wrong and weird. Didn't like it.
Yeah, on the Facebook page, there's a lot of people who like claim that like the Dean character was like a stalker. You know, that sometimes it just felt like he was like a kind of creepy sometimes. And then I watched that, and I'm like, no, Jared Padalecki, he was not like he didn't remind me of a stalker. He didn't remind me of anything like that. It was that actor who would have like given me the idea that he would have been like a stalker.
A little bit of a
He
creepy
gives
vibe.
you skeezy vibes.
Yeah.
Kathy Ann, I see you're flashing your mic.
I agree that Jared doesn't exactly give off the stalker vibes. It's the one part in the aired pilot where he's like, I've been watching you, but not in this creepy stalker kind of way. But like, you were watching her close enough to know what book she's been reading. But in the unaired pilot, he notices the other Dean notices the book while they're standing there. And I think that's the only thing I like about that part of Dean.
I saw Cindy flashing her mic.
Yeah, I mean, obviously I'm a Jared fan, I'm a Team Jared fan, but the whole environment's totally different. I mean, the whole scene, the whole set's totally different. Because when Rory and Jared Dean are standing there, they're right by the door. You see the door and the stairs right behind them. And the angle obviously is way different. This weird guy is on the left side. Jared was on the right side, and he picks up the books off the ground. And, it's a totally different vibe or feel to the whole thing. And I totally liked the way they did it with Dean a lot better, because you can notice a lot of the differences, that other guy being on the left, and then of course him walking away and them not going together. And, he was he was not very good looking at all. I would expect Dean to be like, nice looking, tall, anyway, so yeah, that was my 2 cents.
I saw Jennifer flashing her mic, and then I saw Diane and Mary. So Jennifer, Diane, and Mary. That'll be our order.
Okay, thanks. I don't remember where I've heard this, but I remember hearing that the Dean character originally was supposed to be more of a bad boy type, and then when Jared came along, the character changed a little bit, which would make more sense with all the like motorcycle talk and stuff. And so I don't know. I'm curious if anybody else has any insight to any of that. And also I wonder if that had been the case, if they would have done the same thing like with the Jess character as contrast.
But this guy didn't feel at all like a bad boy.
Not at all.
Not even slightly.
He was
He kind of seemed a little nervous. It was weird.
So I don't know. Like, I tend to agree with Jennifer. I got a total Jess vibe from him when he took the book from her. Because it was a little aggressive. Like, oh, like look at this. It's almost like a neg. Like, what are you reading? Like, what is that? And not necessarily like bad boy vibes, but definitely a little bit more like slightly more aggressive in that way, in the way that our Dean isn't, in the way that Jared isn't. And I also think that scene is just really bad. Like, I just hate everything about it. I don't think it's written well. I don't buy that Rory would be pissed that like someone is towering over her. She's just like too meek for that line. I mean, it's just in my opinion, I guess, but I don't know. Like, and also Jared is really tall, so it would kind of make sense if she was really intimidated by somebody standing over her really tall, and that guy's not that tall, so it's really funny. But I don't know. I agree. I think he is a little bit more, not bad boy, but like just a tad bit more aggressive.
Yeah, I'm not saying they nail it, but I agree. It has more of that vibe to it.
Mary, what do you
Yeah, I was going to say exactly something very similar in that I actually thought he was rude by picking up the book. The way he took the book, like she's standing there with a box of stuff in front of him, and he decides to take the thing on the top of the box where she has no way of stopping him if she doesn't want to. Like, what if that was her diary and she was embarrassed by it or whatever? She has no way of stopping him. He reads it and then nonchalantly tosses it back on top of the pile and walks away. Like, oh, take the box, help her along. Like, I just thought he was rude. I'm like, this is not my Dean.
Yeah, at least with Jared, like, he's kind enough to take the box, right? He's like helping her, walking around. Like, they're talking about cake and how round it is. But yeah, I could totally see that for sure. I also was gonna say that, like, I don't buy that guy knows Rosemary's Baby, like,
Or Moby Dick. I mean, like, at all.
it sounds bogus for me to say, but I just don't buy the fact that he knows what Rosemary's Baby is, or even Moby Dick, as he said. So that's just my 2 cents.
And I also like how Miss Patty's line changes. I like it better when your tall, dark friend. You know, she says that about Dean, but doesn't say that about
This guy.
this guy. So I like it better when Miss Patty talks about Dean being tall and, you know, nice looking.
I was gonna add on to, like, you're kind of mentioning, like, he seemed a little, like, I don't know, I think Regina said skeezy.
Yeah, he skeezy, but
I think one of the contributing factors to that is, you know, Jared was like, I think he said in like something live that he did with his wife, he was like 19 when he did that role, and this dude was like 26. So like a 26-year-old and like a 19-year-old girl, it looks a little weird because he looked really old. Like he looked too old to be like 16 or 15 or however old he's supposed to be.
oh wow, that's interesting. I did not know Jared's age around this time. Yeah.
I know like a lot of facts about things when I get into them. But
No, I like it. I like the passion for sure. But that's interesting. I never knew that.
yeah, I think that is definitely something, because Jared had like a really like baby face, so you could kind of buy that he was like a nice, sweet, you know, oh, let me help you with your books, and I know about like literature. And this other guy was like, hi, I flunked out, but you're hot. It's like, it's creepy. I'm sorry, it's creepy. You know?
I was held back 3 times.
Yeah,
I also think that hair did not help matters either, for sure. The hair did not help matters. Like, I think with Jared that I actually like the haircut. Unironically, as I say it, it's gonna be on the record. I liked that haircut on Jared, but the haircut on Nathan was just not it at all.
I know, just to be clear, if we're recording this, and I feel like if this gets out to some sort of thing, he's probably like a really lovely person. He just didn't work for this.
Yeah, I actually, like, I truly mean that I kind of wished he had done Star Wars, because I can actually see him in that role. Like, physically,
totally.
I can see him in that role. So I have nothing against the guy. It's just he's not Dean.
He just didn't deliver in the way he you know, that Jared did, and that's just, things don't work out. But yeah, he seemed like the guy in the back of the class that, like, you know, has been there for a few years, and it wasn't nice. I don't.
He's the guy Luke described.
I was just gonna mention that. The dude who's with Steely Dan, and then just is like, Steely Dan, and he's like, the group changes, the weirdo in the back never does.
It's like Sean Penn, and what's the old movie in Mr. Hand's class? What Fast Times at Ridgemont High?
Oh yeah.
Oh my
gosh.
Does he have frosted tips? Is his hair frosted?
Oh, John, why would you even
Here we go with the frosted tips.
just bring him back frosted tips.
Yeah, we're still waiting for a picture of you with frosted tips.
Yeah.
I got to find something. I've got it somewhere.
You know, honestly, I wasn't totally.
Were you in the Backstreet Boys?
Justin Timberlake from NSYNC definitely has a frosted tip.
Hey everyone, I'm gonna actually have to jump off now. But this was a lot of fun, and I see, Mary, that you got the you got the pilot in for tomorrow, which will be good because now it's fresh. So we'll be able to, I think we'll be way better equipped to know exactly what tiny little stove hoods and whatnot are or are not in the actual aired pilot.
Look at us.
It sounds good.
And also, John, I did post the link to that, like, I think it was like an Entertainment Weekly or something interview with like.
Oh, that was
the
one I also saw.
Yeah, I posted it into the Facebook group.
Cool. I'm gonna check it out.
Yeah.
All right, I'm out. I will see you all tomorrow. Thank you for doing this, Regina. This was a lot of fun.
Thanks for letting me host this event.
Regina.
What's up?
I said thank you so much for letting me host this event.
Oh, of course. I mean, I'm not letting anybody host anything. You all can host whatever you want, whenever you want. I'm thanking you for hosting an awesome event and doing an amazing job there with that opening speech.
Regina should host June 3rd so that
Oh my God. Now that'd be interesting.
Pressure.
so that John can just relax and watch himself on TV.
It's a coup.
Oh, I won't be relaxed. There's no version of me being relaxed watching that episode.
Okay,
I know. I wish we almost had like a video option.
Wait,
for
what's
that.
That's John's first episode in season 3.
Oh, June 3rd.
Yeah, the one.
Yeah, see, I had June 30th, something totally different. I'm like, I don't think John understands the reference.
Yeah,
I know.
No. I also know that June 3rd is an important reference in the Gilmore Girls mythology. I don't know what that means yet, but I know that all of you have been talking about. Isn't it interesting? June 3rd. I'm like, I don't know what that means.
You should note that so later you can remember that your first episode with us was on June 3rd.
It's on the record. It's on the record.
Perfect.
So be very excited for season 3 because episode 1 is like the beginning scenes of episode 1. Magnificent, fantastic.
Yeah.
So exciting. So exciting.
I can't wait.
Yes.
Anticipation building.
Yeah, the anticipation thing is worth.
And then we get to
I love it. That's what this week is. That's what this week is about. Getting me excited. All right. So I will see you all tomorrow.
Bye.
Good night.
Did something get scheduled for tomorrow?
So I scheduled a watch of the pilot, the actual aired pilot, so we can come back.
To re-record.
Well,
and to
re-record, but also really just to watch it again. I'm just super curious.
That's
anyway.
Exciting.
So we're going to be taping that, but I just realized I don't know how to I'll ask Regina. How do I put in that little recording circle?
You just type in the word red dot on your like just type red dot.
It's an emoji.
It's an emoji.
It's not like a Clubhouse thing.
No. It's an emoji. So as you're typing, type the word red dot, and as soon as you type the word red dot, you'll see that little red dot will appear in your if you got that like auto thing on your phone. Set,
I thought
it
it
was
was
an
Clubhouse setting. I was like, how do I tell Clubhouse I want to record? So.
No. It's all it is you're just doing that out of courtesy to let people know in the title of the room that there's recording. Yeah, exactly. All right. All right. Bye, everyone.
Bye.
Bye, John.
Bye.